Have you ever looked at someone who seemed to have it all together, successful, happy, seemingly living the best life, and wondered, how did they get here? Or maybe you've seen someone who was in a similar position as you are now, but then something changed. They took a different path, made different decisions, and ended up somewhere you aspired to be. You can't help but think, if only I could have that too. Well, there's a secret, an often overlooked truth that has the power to change your life if you understand and use it. And it's this. Every great achievement, every success story began with just a single step. Yes, you heard that right. It wasn't a grand gesture, a stroke of luck, or even a perfectly laid out plan that made all the difference. It was the first step. Think about that for a moment. Everything you see around you, everything you admire, everything you've achieved, it started with a single step. Your current situation, whether it feels good or bad, comfortable or challenging, it's the result of steps you've taken in the past. Every decision, every action, every moment of your life has been a step leading you to where you are today. So the question I want you to ponder is this. Are you ready to take the first step towards the life you envision? Are you willing to leave the past behind and embrace the potential that lies ahead? Because the first step isn't just about motivation or inspiration. It's about commitment, determination, and most importantly, it's about courage. It's about facing the fear of the unknown, stepping out of your comfort zone, and walking towards the uncertainty of what lies ahead. You see, we often get caught up in the details, in the what-ifs and the maybes. We overthink, we doubt, and in the process, we end up taking no steps at all. But here's the hard truth. If you want to change your life, if you want to create the life you're after, it starts with taking that first step, even if you don't feel ready. So let's talk about this feeling of not being ready. I'm guessing that many of you watching this video right now feel like you're not ready to take that first step. Maybe you feel like you need more knowledge, more experience, or more preparation before you can start. But let me tell you something. You'll never feel 100% ready. There will always be someone or something that seems to be more qualified, more talented, or more prepared. And while these thoughts may seem like a good excuse to stay where you are, they're really just barriers you've created to protect yourself from failure or rejection. But here's the thing. True success, true happiness, and true fulfillment, none of it happens in the comfort zone. It happens when you stretch beyond your limits, when you face your fears and break through your barriers. There's a quote by the legendary basketball player Michael Jordan that says, "Obstacles don't block the path. They are the path. Winners always find a way." Let those words sink in. Obstacles aren't something that stand in your way. They are your way. And it's in these obstacles, these challenges, these moments when you feel like you're not ready, that your true strength is tested. That's where you discover who you're made of. In his book, Can't Hurt Me, retired Navy SEAL David Goggins tells a story that perfectly illustrates this point. During his rigorous training with the Navy SEALs, Goggins was pushed to his physical and mental limits. One particular exercise involved running 1.5 miles in under 10 minutes, carrying a heavy rucksack. After several failed attempts, Goggins found himself lying on the ground, exhausted and ready to give up. But then he remembered something his father had told him growing up. You can't quit. Quit is not a word in our family. From that moment on, Goggins pushed through the pain, the exhaustion, and the burning in his lungs. He ran the 1.5 miles, and he did unstop until he had completed 27 of them. That day, Gonson discovered a strength within himself he never knew existed. And that's the thing. You don't know how strong you are until you're pushed to the limit, until you face the fear of not being ready and choose to act anyway. Now, I want to share a story with you, a story that I believe can inspire you to take that first step. There was a young man named Oliver who had always dreamed of becoming a writer. He would spend hours reading books, devouring stories, and yearning to create his own. But every time he sat down to write, he felt overwhelmed. He doubted his abilities. He questioned whether he had what it took to succeed in such a competitive field. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still Oliver didn't make a move. He kept waiting for the perfect moment, for the time when he felt truly ready. But that moment never came. Years went by and Oliver found himself stuck in a job he hated, a relationship that felt empty, and a life that was far from his dreams. He grew older, his confidence waned, and his writing remained confined to the pages of his journal. Then one day, something shifted within Oliver. He realized that his life had become a collection of what-ifs and maybes. What if I had followed my dream? If only I'd had the courage to take that first step. These thoughts tormented him, reminding him of the life he'd put on hold. It was at that moment, standing at a crossroads in his life, that Oliver decided enough was enough. He was tired of living in regret and fear. So he took a deep breath, sat down at his desk, and started to write. He didn't know where the story would lead him, but he knew he had to start, and so he did. Now, I'm not going to tell you that Oliver became an instant success. The path to success is rarely a straight line. There were days when his confidence faltered, when self-doubt crept in, and when the idea of giving up seemed like the easier choice. But each time he felt like quitting, he remembered that first step he'd taken, that moment when he chose to follow his dream despite the fear and the uncertainty. He held on, and slowly but surely, Oliver's writing began to gain recognition. His story touched readers, his characters resonated with people's hearts, and his words painted pictures in their minds. Success didn't come in a flash. It came with dedication, persistence, and above all, with the courage to take that first step. So I want you to ask yourself, what is your Oliver story? What is the dream that's been put on hold? The potential that's been left untapped? The passion that's been ignored? It's time to bring it to life. It's time to take that first step. Remember, success doesn't happen overnight. It's the culmination of small steps taken consistently over a period of time. But here's the thing. Those small steps only matter if you take the first one. If you don't take that initial step, if you don't choose to act, then everything else doesn't matter. You might say you want to be healthier, but without the first step of taking care of your health, it remains just a desire. You might say you want to be financially successful, but without the first step of learning financial literacy, it remains just a dream. Let me leave you with a final thought. Don't wait for the perfect timing. Don't wait for the stars to align. Take action now. Start today, even if it's just a small step. And as you take that step, know that you're not alone. There are countless others who have walked this path before you. There are mentors, guides, and communities that can support you. All you have to do is reach out. So I encourage you to reach out, to connect, to seek guidance. But most importantly, I want you to take that first step. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Don't let another day go by wondering what could have been. Take action today and create the life you're after. Remember, it all begins with a single step, but this first step, it is the hardest of all.